When visiting Killarney, Ireland, there are several nearby attractions just outside of town that make an easy half-day excursion, including 500-year-old Ross Castle, Muckross House Mansion and its beautiful flower gardens, Torc Waterfall and its raging river, and one of the best hotels, the 4-star Lake Hotel. These are all located within 4 miles or 7 kilometers of Killarney town, very easy to reach by horse cart, tour van, bicycle, or even walking. Ross Castle is in County Kerry on the edge of Killarney's lower lake, Lough Leane, which makes a tranquil and picturesque setting even on a rainy day. You can rent rowboats and go out in the lake or go off on an excursion boat ride as well. When you see a friendly tour guide hanging around, feel free to ask him a question.
What do you know about this castle?
This castle, well, Kerry, County Kerry one time was all full of clans, like you have clans in Scotland. And the people in this part are called the O'Donohues. So this is an O'Donohue castle.
There's a helpful sign that's provided by the National Heritage Service that summarizes the history of the castle, which began about the year 1500. Built by the O'Donohue family who ruled the Killarney area at the time. The castle was originally contained inside a strong stone wall, and outside this there was probably an earthen bank and wooden palisade which enclosed an area called the Bailey. The castle is quite famous because it was amongst the last to surrender to Oliver Cromwell's Roundheads, who invaded during the Irish Confederate Wars, and was only taken when artillery was brought here by boat, along with 4,000 invading English foot soldiers. By 1700, the castle had changed hands twice. The O'Donohues were allied with the Earl of Desmond during his failed rebellion, and so the castle fell into the hands of the McCarthy-Moore family. This was probably when the larger windows and barbizons were added. The castle was subsequently granted to an English land surveyor, Sir Valentine Brown, who became the Earl of Kenmare and owned an extensive portion of the lands that are now part of Killarney National Park. This drawing shows the castle shortly after the 1798 Rising, at a time when the English were expecting a French invasion. By the mid-18th century, the castle had become a garrison. Most of the walls had been removed, Valentine Brown's house had been demolished, and it had been necessary to support the northwest corner of the castle with a substantial buttress. A new barrack block was built, as well as additional accommodations on the west side. Legend has it that O'Donohue still exists in a deep slumber under the waters of the lake, and once every 7 years he rises from the lake on his magnificent white horse and circles the lake. 6 kilometers away from Killarney, you'll reach Muckross House, located between Muckross Lake and Lough Leane. Open to the public daily. Originally, it was a private mansion built in 1843 for Henry Arthur Herbert, built in the Tudor style with 65 rooms. It is surrounded by one of the most beautiful floral gardens in the country. During the 1850s, the Herberts undertook extensive garden works in preparation for a visit from Queen Victoria in 1861. It is said that these improvements for the Queen's visit were a contributory factor in the financial difficulties suffered by the Herbert family, which resulted in the sale of the estate. Early in the 20th century, the Bourne Vincent family continued this gardening tradition. It was at that time that the Sunken Garden, Rock Garden, and the Stream Garden were developed. Bourne was a wealthy California mining magnate and retained the house as a private residence until the 1930s, when they decided to present Muckross House and its 11,000-acre estate to the Irish nation. It thus became the first national park in the Republic of Ireland and formed the basis of the present-day Killarney National Park. In later years, the park was substantially expanded by the acquisition of land from the former Earl of Kenmare's estate. As a national park, the admission to the gardens is free, and there's also free parking. You can visit inside the mansion by arranging to join one of their guided group tours. Another attraction here is the traditional farm with 3 separate working farms, complete with farm animals and dwellings in the traditional style. The garden restaurant is next to the old Victorian walled garden area, and it's a great venue to enjoy a relaxing meal with a view out across the gardens. Open every day from 9 to 5, and then in the summer from 9 till 7. You can also take a ride here in one of the horse carriages, the famous jaunting carts of Killarney, which we did not see on this rainy day in May, but normally there are plenty of drivers waiting to take you for a ride. Our next attraction is just 2 kilometers away, the famous Torc Waterfall. We are seeing these sites as a small private group guided by a company called My Ireland Tour. Let me introduce you to the falls. Torc Falls is another one of your scenic highlights in the Killarney area. You don't want to miss it. It's only about 100 yards walk off the road, and it's free and wonderful. Finally, we have a benefit of being out on a rainy day. Typical of Killarney, it rains a lot, of course. The waterfall is booming when it rains. There is always some water, but it's especially wonderful today. The walk from the parking area to the falls is just 200 meters along a fairly level and well-maintained walkway, and you have the beautiful sight of the raging river on your right side as you walk along. It's even as exciting as the waterfall itself, especially on a rainy day. The 20-meter-high waterfall is formed by the Owengarrif River as it drains from the Devil's Punch Bowl, a lake high above in Mangerton Mountain. There are a number of loop trails that you can hike around the Torc Waterfall of varying lengths called the blue, yellow, and red trails. Steps lead up the side of the waterfall to those upper paths. If you kept going on one of them, you would get back to Muckross House, in part walking along the shores of the lake. There are quite a few other trails in this national park, all part of what's called the Kerry Way, a long-distance walking route. Although most visitors are happy to reach the falls, take a picture, and head back to the parking lot. Of course, the lakes of Killarney are world famous and offer a variety of ways to see them by hiking or by boat, by horse cart, or by driving, which makes them accessible to everybody. For the most hardy, you could walk to the top of Torc Mountain, 530 meters high. Soon enough, you're back at the parking area, and you'll notice there are restroom facilities here. We are getting back in our My Ireland Tour van with our excellent driver Charlie, who is taking us on to our final stop of the excursion, the legendary 4-star Lake Hotel, which has been welcoming guests since 1820 and has been operated since the 1940s by the Huggard family. And so there's a long tradition of warm Irish hospitality that awaits you here. They claim an emphasis is placed on quality, attention to detail, first-rate customer service, a warm welcome, and a determination that all visitors become friends as well as guests. The Castle Lough restaurant is open to the public, where you might look out the window and observe wild deer strolling across the lawn amid the peace and tranquility imposed by the lakes. Truly a spectacular, unrivaled location with all-encompassing views of Killarney's world-famous scenery. They've gotten several national quality awards for cuisine, service, and hospitality. There are also excellent hotels in town that we have showed you in our other programs about Killarney. We have many more movies about Ireland, including another one about Killarney, and we cover Dingle, Galway, Connemara, Dublin, and other places, so be sure to look for them in our collection. We frequently upload new movies, so please subscribe to our channel and click that little alarm bell so you'll be notified. And if you enjoyed the movie, how about a thumbs up? And we always welcome comments down below. Or if you have questions about the destination, make note and we'll answer them. Thanks for watching.